Sent from Disneyland, history in our hand. So much to say about yesterday and the decades we have spanned. Postcards from the park, this journey will embark. See what has changed and what remains on Sent from Disneyland. Sent from Disneyland.
Welcome to the Sent from Disneyland podcast.
Here age relives fond memories of the past.
If it's your first time joining us, welcome. On this podcast, we'll take a journey into the past and explore Disneyland, Disneyland history, and more, with mementos, snapshots, souvenirs, and postcards sent from Disneyland, from 1955 to the present. Let's start by thanking my patrons from patreon.com. You can join in at any level to support the show and receive snail mail from my trips to Disneyland and from my desk, plus some sneak peeks and bonus content. Special thanks to Random Olive, the first patron to this podcast, and to the rest of the e-ticket patrons, Tania, Eric Daniels, Monica Seitz Vega, Bill Dreffel, Scott Cagle, Russ Romano, Michael and Christina Cross, Angela Reynolds, and Sheila Harry. C-ticket patrons Serious Inquiries Only, Debbie Weinstein, Jennifer Schneep, Grace Coate, Patty Wolin, Ben and Noel Bruning, and Greg Gorley. B-ticket patron Joshua Bell, and to the A-ticket patrons Elise Sharp, Zealot Infinity, Alexis Robles, Angel DeBlock, Daps Magic, and the Beyond the Railroad podcast. I am your host, your post-host Clocky, and today we have 2 postcards sent from Disneyland. The front of our first postcard has the facade of It's a Small World. You can see guests starting their cruise, as well as guests exiting the attraction. On the back it reads, It's a Small World. A gala toy parade begins as It's a Small World's imaginative clock performs the time, an exciting bon voyage for guests embarking on the happiest cruise that ever sailed. It's postmarked October 28, 1976, with an Anaheim cancel, and a 9-cent Capitol Dome Right of People Peaceably to Assemble postage stamp, Scott number 1591. I assume they visited the park on Wednesday, October 27, 1976, when park hours were from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The weather was a high of 83 and a low of 54. It's addressed to Eddie Olms of Oil City, Georgia. It reads, Dear Eddie, this is where I've been. It was beautiful. I see you Saturday. Love, Mom. As I mentioned in my post-Christmas episode, I obtained a copy of the Mike Curb Congregation record album, It's a Small World, Walt Disney's Greatest Hits. Starting off, let's look at the history of Mike Curb. Mike just celebrated his 81st birthday on Christmas Eve last year. By the age of 18, he started Sidewalk Records. 6 years later, his company merged with MGM Records. Now, at the start of 1969, he was the president of MGM Records, Verve Records, and formed Curb Records. As a writer, he co-wrote the theme song for American Bandstand and wrote or supervised over 50 film scores and over 400 songs. In 1970, he formed a group called the Mike Curb Congregation, and they performed as background singers for many songs, including The Candyman with Sammy Davis Jr., not the version used in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Their version of It's a Small World made it to the adult contemporary Billboard charts in the top 10 in 1973. Mike continued writing songs and producing throughout the mid-70s, and started getting into politics. He was the chairman of the inaugural youth concert for President Nixon's second term, and was elected Lieutenant Governor of California from 1978 to 1982. Add some flair to your mail by checking out stamps at Enfield Post. You can explore different stamp options on our Etsy site, grab some great deals by following EP Sunday Sales on Instagram, or create something special and have her design a stamp array for your invitation or celebration. You can head over to EnfieldPost.com and explore all the different vintage postage stamps you can use on your next card or letter. That's ENFIELDPOST on Instagram and EnfieldPost.com for your wedding and vintage postage needs. Enfield Post is the official postage stamp sponsor of the Sent from Disneyland podcast. The front of our next postcard has the 3 little pigs and the big bad wolf standing in front of the Small World facade. Above in yellow it reads, 3 little pigs and friend. And below, also in yellow, Disneyland in the classic Gothic font. On the back it reads, The 3 Little Pigs. Throughout Fantasyland, the 3 little pigs are still singing Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf and giving their toothy friend a merry chase. It's postmarked December 1st, 1978, with an Anaheim cancel and a 10-cent People's Right to Petition for Redress postage stamp, Scott number 1592. I assume they visited the park on Thursday, November 30th, 1978, when park hours were from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The weather was a high of 73 and a low of 46. It's addressed to Doris Lindau of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It reads, Doris, Albert, and Jerry, this is the way to have sales meetings. Temperature 75. Love, B.A. Delving deeper into my library's copy of Mouse Tracks, The Story of Walt Disney Records, there are a few more mentions of Mike Curb and the Disney Company. One section dives into the 1973 recording of It's a Small World, and they use 3 different drummers and 3 different pianos behind the Mike Curb congregation to get the sound for the recording. Also, with Mike's connections, Disney brought performers like Lou Rawls and the Osmonds to the park to perform at the Tomorrowland Terrace stage. Also, for Disney Records in 1974, he produced contemporary versions of songs from the Mickey Mouse Club. The Mickey Mouse Club, Mousecadances and Other Mouseketeer Favorites was a record filled with songs from the original 1955 television show, but with additional echo and stereo effects to give it a pop sound. This was made to promote the new Mickey Mouse Club, which would debut in 1977. Multiple versions of this record were produced, with 3 different recordings of the Mickey Mouse Club, including the original one, and the one by the Mellow Men, which I can't find a version of online. A later pressing of the record included updated versions of the songs Today is Tuesday, Anything Can Happen, Fun with Music, and Talent Roundup. Mike Curb is still chairman of the board at Curb Records, and the Mike Curb Congregation album It's a Small World, Walt Disney's Greatest Hits, is available on Amazon and Spotify. My incoming postcard is sponsored by the Art Throwdown. Art Throwdown, or ATD, is a craft hour on Instagram, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern or 6 Pacific. Art Throwdown is a wonderful community of artists who love to share their craft, from creating sticker postcards and coloring techniques to intricate paper cutting and unique crafting. It's always a treat to watch a show and occasionally get some one-of-a-kind postcards from the group. Each host brings something a little different to each show. I'll list some of the regular hosts, or you can follow Russ Romano 2021 on Instagram. The front of my incoming postcard has the Mad Hatter's hat surrounded by Mary Blair-inspired leaves and flowers on a black background. It's not postmarked, but was sent with a fun button, Forever postage stamp, Scott number 5921. It reads, I'm amazed by the fact that I will drive over 2 hours to Disneyland, only to hurry to the Autopia to drive a car around a rough and jarring track, and I'll do it as many times as possible throughout the day. Maggie. Thank you so much for the postcard, Maggie. This postcard was part of a direct swap from Post Crossing. Maggie asked me to send a Big Thunder Mountain postcard and asked if she could send me this Alice in Wonderland postcard. The postcard looks like it's from a stationery set. She was kind enough to reorient the way she would fill in the postcard to preserve the suggested stamp location, which is usually just a box that says Place Stamp Here. But this card has a box with a small Alice in a Drink Me vial from the Pool of Tears segment of the movie. I'm also impressed with how well the postcard looks after going through the sorting machines. Although I don't run to the Autopia after a long car ride, I will hop on the Disneyland Railroad and circle the park for an hour or so, just to enjoy the attraction and watch the engineers as they go through their routines at the New Orleans Square station and throughout the ride. What attraction can you ride over and over and over again? Drop me a postcard and let me know. Thanks for listening to Sent from Disneyland. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and tell your friends. It would also help to leave a 5-star rating and comment on whatever podcast platform you use. If you'd like to support the show financially, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/sentfromdisneyland. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at sentfromdisneyland or my website, sentfromdisneyland.com. For questions and comments, send me a postcard addressed to Sent from Disneyland, P.O. Box 44, Hood, California, 95639. This podcast is not affiliated with Disney, the United States Postal Service, or any post office or Disney-related properties. Opinions expressed on this podcast belong to the host and guests of the Sent from Disneyland podcast. This podcast is produced and edited by Clocky McDowell, website designed by Misty McDowell, theme song was written and performed by Noah Sunday Lefkowitz. Take it away, Noah.